Another beautiful day for Cubs baseball on WGN Sports. We'll get your weekend off to an early start with a late Friday afternoon matinee. The Cardinals and Cubs in Game 2 of this series. And we welcome Cub fans from all over the country watching on WGN America, America's home for baseball. Great to have you with us. Jim DeShays, Len Casper, our final telecast of the first half. And these two teams are hot. Each have won 5 of 6. The Cubs a 3-0 winner last night. Anthony Rizzo had all 3 RBIs.
Yeah, big night for Anthony Rizzo. Edwin Jackson on the mound was outstanding. Starlin Castro had 3 knocks. Take a look at some numbers here. Anthony Rizzo, in the 31 games in which he has driven in a run, the Cubs are 19-12. He's had an RBI in 4 of the last 5 games, including the last 3. So starting to heat up a little bit.
Good to see the Cubs playing better at Wrigley Field. They're nearing 500 right now, 21-24.
And somewhat surprisingly, it's been mostly because of the pitching over the last 10 games. That ERA of 3.62, significantly better than what we saw in those first 35 ball games.
Couple of swing guys. They've done both relieving and starting. Today in starts, it'll be Joe Kelly, the right-hander for the Cardinals, and Carlos Villanueva for the Cubs.
Kelly, a young guy with a power arm. Villanueva, you know his game a little bit differently, more of a finesse-style pitcher, in and out of the rotation. 1-3 as a starting pitcher this year with a 3.81 for Carlos.
So the Cubs try to make it 2 in a row over their rivals, the Cardinals. Last night it was all about Edwin Jackson. 7 shutout innings. He was tremendous. Rizzo coming up with a couple of big hits. Got pretty emotional at the end for Mike Matheny as well, as he got ejected after the game. We'll have Game 2 of this series next. Brought to you by Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. From shutouts to walk-offs, we've been celebrating the greatest moments in Major League Baseball for over 30 years. Great times are waiting. Grab some Buds. Honda. Visit your local Honda dealer or go to shophonda.com for current offers. And by AT&T. Find out what's possible with products and services from AT&T. Rethink possible. Chicago Cubs baseball in high definition on WGN TV is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports.
Today's game is available in Spanish on your SAP audio setting, provided by WRTO, La Tremenda, Chicago's Spanish language sports leader.
Cardinals come in as one of the best offensive clubs in the major leagues. They lead the National League in runs, and look at this. They've got 3 of the top 6 hitters in terms of batting average in the National League. So if Matt Carpenter can jump past Segura or Votto by year's end, they would be the first team to have 3 players in the top 5 since the Big Red Machine back in 1976. Griffey, Rose, and Morgan.
Team that went on to win the World Series in a 4-game sweep over the Yankees.
Let's get the Cardinals starting lineup. They got shut out last night. First time since April that happened. All-star Matt Carpenter leads it off. John Jay is in center. A couple changes in their lineup because Matt Holliday's out with that tight hamstring. Beltran will hit third. Craig and Molina and Beltran are all-stars as well. Matt Adams at first. David Freese at third. Pete Kozma the shortstop. And Joe Kelly the pitcher.
Cubs defense brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. We'll go to the outfield, and there you'll find Soriano, Bogusevic, and Shearholtz, left, center, and right. Infield made up of Valbuena, Castro, Barney, and Rizzo. Wellington Castillo behind the plate for veteran Carlos Villanueva. He's 2-4, 3.63 ERA, 9 starts. This is his second consecutive start now after coming out of the bullpen with the Scott Feldman trade. Worked 4 innings last time. He'll be looking to stretch it out now this afternoon. All systems go for Carlos.
Probably won't go much past 90 pitches or so. And in his first start back, 69. Mike DeMuro, the home plate umpire. Wally Bell, the crew chief. Alfonso Marquez at second. There's Chicago native Dan Bellino. He and the Cardinals not too happy with one another after last night, although try to turn the page. Mike Matheny got ejected after the game ended. He was not too thrilled with the way Bellino shooed away Matt Adams. We'll get that to you here in a second. So here's Carpenter to lead it off. Leads the National League in doubles, runs, and multi-hit games. And he takes ball 1 outside, and we are underway.
Carpenter will work a walk as well with that high batting average, so he has a very high on-base percentage. You see it there, 390.
This will get out of play down the left field line. Those 3 days have been just about perfect. 77 degrees. We've got a northeast wind at 10, so it's blowing in. And a pretty heavenly day indeed. Villanueva with a 1-1. Carpenter foul tipped it. 1-2.
No decision for Carlos last time out. 4 innings came against the Pittsburgh Pirates, a game that the Cubs ultimately won 4-3 in 11 innings. He worked 4 innings, allowed 3 hits, 1 run. Walked a man, struck out 5.
That's pulled foul. On a pitch that was way out of the strike zone, it appeared.
It's his MO, get ahead early, then expand. Doesn't like to give in. He's not going to blow you away with his velocity. But any pitch in any count.
Closer than I thought. Carpenter now in protect mode, down 1-2. Go up and in. Just missed that corner.
Time to throw a 2-seam runner back to the inside corner. Couldn't quite get it all the way back.
A little low, and it's full 3-2. Center fielder John Jay is on deck.
Pretty robust numbers in his home ballpark.
Lined into left for a leadoff base hit for the all-star Carpenter. So let's look at our AT&T Uverse replay. We go back to the first out last night in the 9th inning. Kevin Gregg looked like it was a strike. Adams not too happy. And right here,
that little dismissive flip, that got Mike Matheny's attention, and that's wrong. And I mean, he was locked in on Dan Bellino and confronted him after the ball game.
Find out what's possible with products and services from AT&T. Rethink possible. That's actually what we understand Matheny said to Dan Bellino.
Anything's possible?
Yeah, he said rethink possible. Yeah. One away as Jay flies out. It's about as upset as you will see Mike Matheny. Now Carlos Beltran, who played in his 2000th big league game last night, went 0 for 4. He has 353 career home runs, 5th all time among switch hitters.
Yeah, and you can start to build a case for Beltran for Cooperstown. He's got to stay healthy, play a little bit while longer to build up some of those counting stats. What he's been able to do, having been a center fielder for so long, so there's a lot of defensive value there as well.
He has not been to the World Series, but he's been on 3 different teams that have been in Game 7 of the LCS. All 3 teams lost. But 34 playoff games, he's hit .363. So you can't say that he hasn't performed when it counts the most. Swing and a miss.
Yeah, right now, I would think he's on the outside looking in. But again, if he stays healthy and puts up numbers for another 2 or 3 years, maybe.
Although, right now, JD, I'm not sure what a Hall of Famer is. It seems to be changing based on other things. So,
right. Well,
who knows?
That's the thing. There's been no speculation that I'm aware of about Beltran and PEDs or anything like that.
No, and I guess my point is not so much about that. It's just that, the line seems to be moving on what numbers mean anymore. That is going to get to the wall in right. Carpenter toward third. Jose Oquendo is going to send him. Sherholtz had some trouble retrieving it, and Beltran has a triple. Unless there's an error down there, we lose sight of the right fielder right in that corner. It's 1-0 St. Louis, their first run of the series.
Stays back nicely on the off-speed breaking ball from Villanueva and rakes it into the right field corner. So Carpenter, who's second in the league in runs scored and high on base percentage, worked a great at bat. Line drive single for him. He comes home on this triple by Beltran. That's the formula for the Cardinals. High average hitters doing a lot of damage with men on base.
Infield in against Alan Craig, who's already knocked in 71 this season. Second in the league. Runners in scoring position. Deadly. Almost 480. Fouled away.
What we saw from the Cardinals in the series in St. Louis a while back was just a real smart approach. A lot of line drives up the middle, willing to go the other way, not trying to lift the ball out of the ballpark.
2-0 as Craig knocks in Beltran. So even without Matt Holliday here today, Cardinals striking early.
Carlos is a guy who relies on command, and he was trying to go inside with a fastball there on Craig. You see he shook off a series of signs from Castillo. Ultimately got to the inside fastball. That's the pitch he wanted to make. He wanted to jam him. He just didn't make the pitch.
Brings up MVP candidate Yadier Molina. It's possible he could sit out a game this weekend. He's been battling some right knee inflammation, and his manager, former catcher himself, has said he would like to make sure Molina gets as much rest as possible. I want to keep him fresh down the stretch. So get out of play. It's 0-2 on Molina, who used to be known as a defensive specialist. You can't say that anymore. He's still really good back there, but known as much now for his offense as his defense.
Now, the reputation was, a great receiver, cannon for an arm, and he can handle the bat. Was kind of the scouting report on Molina when he first came into the league. But year by year, he's gotten better and better and better.
Leading the league in hitting.
Although about 30 points lower than when we last saw him middle of June. Oh, look at that.
His throws his bat at strike 3.
Literally through the head. He was hitting 367 when the Cubs and Cardinals got together in St. Louis back in the middle of June. Very difficult to sustain that. And fooled by the breaking pitch.
So 2 down, and it will bring up the first baseman, Matt Adams. Not a bad backup plan. You put Craig in left, and Adams comes in at 317. Slugging .567.
This kid's a behemoth, and he hits the ball hard.
Love to hear from you. Len and JD at Tribune.com. You can contact us on Facebook. JD's on it all the time. And Twitter, too.
What is that Facebook I hear so much about?
The Facebook.
What is that?
Pulled foul.
Wow, look what he's done against lefties. Not sure how many ABs.
Not a ton.
Strong pull on the infield. Castro on the right side of second base.
Former Cub, not for long, but we enjoyed having him here when he was here. John Mabry, the hitting coach, taking over for Mark McGuire.
You know what he was?
Professional hitter?
You got it.
Mabes. Yeah, I would say over the last couple of decades, and he was around, played for a lot of different teams, known as one of the best clubhouse guys around. Everybody loved him.
I thought Otis was the best clubhouse guy around.
Well, you know what I mean.
He was good in the room.
Good in the room, yeah.
As they say in hockey. You need those guys, especially in this sport, every single day together. A lot of different personalities. You need somebody who can bring people together. Makes going to work a little bit more enjoyable when you've got good people. Not necessary. You can have bad guys and still have a winning team.
The 3-2 on the way is inside, ball 4 to continue the inning.
It's the challenge today. How patient will the Cardinal hitters be? And will Carlos be willing to give in? He doesn't like to. He likes to work the edges, try to get them to chase. He knows his limitations. He's not going to overpower a lot of these dangerous hitters.
Lots of strikes, but 3 of those resulted in hits. Last night, Edwin Jackson, the first Cubs starter this year to go at least 7 innings, not allow a run or a walk. That was his first walkless start of the season. He even admitted it's been a bizarre first half for him. He began the year 1-8 with a 6.29 ERA through 11 starts, but since then 5-2 with a 3.46.
A lot of the story early on for Edwin, a lot of times just one big inning would blow up on him. Sometimes it was lack of command, sometimes it was just a fair amount of misfortune, and most times a combination of both. But lately he's been really good. And last night, boy, outstanding.
David Freese with 2 on, 2 down, and 2 in. Late swing and lines it foul out of play. This is the only day game the entire weekend. Played last night and then a 6:15 start tomorrow, 7:05 on Sunday. Only game going on right now in the majors. Trickles away from Castillo. They will appeal on the swing, and Wally Bell said no.
Maybe. Up and down year for Freese. Very sluggish start. Then he got hot. His OPS home road. He's been better on the road.
Swing and a miss. It's 2-2.
Very important pitch for Carlos is the changeup and the ability to throw it to both sides of the plate, to throw it to right and left-handed batters. That was a dandy he just threw Freese.
Popped in the air to Nate Scherholtzen right, and the inning is over. They score 2, strand 2, and the Cubs are coming up. Let's go places. 99 homers on the season. Last year the Cubs did not hit number 100 until August 18th. Valbuena, Castro, and Rizzo at the top. Soriano, Sherholtz, Bogusevic in the middle. Barney, Castillo, and Villanueva at the bottom.
Cardinals defensively. Alan Craig makes the move to the outfield with Matt Holliday nursing a strained hamstring. John Jay solid in center. Beltran very good out there in right field as well. Freeze, Cosma, solid defender at short. Carpenter can play third or second. He's the second baseman now every day. And Matt Adams, the big fellow over there at first. Yadier Molina, perennial Gold Glover behind the plate for 25-year-old right-hander Joe Kelly. He's 0-3 with a 4.15 ERA. Joe has been primarily a relief pitcher this year. He's made 2 starts. Hard thrower, mid-90s fastball, slider, curve, and a change. Good changeup. Not a big guy, about 6'1", 175. Hasn't exactly been spawn insane and pray for rain with the Cardinals, but due to injuries, they've had to reach down in the minor leagues. Their depth has been tested with that starting rotation, and they have responded. Westbrook has spent time on the DL. Chris Carpenter's been out all year. Jaime Garcia injured.
Kelly's 1-0 at the knees for a strike on Valbuena. It's 1-1. On the ground to Carpenter at second for the first out.
Kelly made a start back on June 5th against the Diamondbacks. And then his last time out back on the 6th of July against the Marlins was a start. Everything else has been out of the pen, but his 2 previous relief appearances before his last start were both 5 innings or more. So he's pretty well stretched out.
He is a junior and senior. Played wide receiver at Vanderbilt. Later signed as a free agent with the NFL's Chargers. And I love this note that he's a distant relative of the notorious gangster George Machine Gun Kelly.
Oh, really? I thought you were saying he played football at Vanderbilt.
No. He's Joe Jr. Joe Sr. did.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you just pulled up the wrong Wikipedia page or something.
Base hit for Castro. He's got 4 in the series, 3 last night.
Machine Gun Kelly, huh? That should be his nickname then. Running fastball, trying to jam him. Castro wouldn't let him in. Get out of my kitchen.
So a runner on for Rizzo, who had knocked in all 3 runs last night. Castro being held on by Adams, and Kelly will throw over. Kelly went to University of California, Riverside. Zepchinski was his teammate there. Born in Anaheim. And here's a pitch. It missed. Interesting that Kelly and Villanueva are starting today, because after the All-Star break, Villanueva's in good shape for a bit, depending on what the Cubs do with the trade deadline coming up. And Scott Baker might be back soon. But Kelly not really guaranteed a spot in their rotation. They won't need a 5th starter for a while, so he'll be available in the pen initially after the break. Just based on what I've read, it sounds to me like Chris Carpenter's situation is viewed as if he's back and helps us, that would be great. But I don't think the Cardinals are necessarily counting.
No, I don't think it's. Yeah, I don't think they can count on Chris until he's actually, back on a major league mound. But indications are that he's throwing the ball well.
Well, he's a warrior, and
oh my goodness,
wouldn't surprise us, would it, if he's back and effective? Here's a 2-1 on the ground, foul.
Wally Bell down there at first base. He did a nice job diffusing that situation last night, getting between Mike Matheny and Dan Bellino.
Oh, 2-2 count. Called strike 3, 96. Right on that inside corner.
Pretty pitch. You see how he got worked way away and then finishes him over the inside part of the plate. Low cheddar.
Molina barely had to move his glove. Put it right where he wanted it. That'll bring up Soriano. Alfonso 0 for 7 over the last 2 days, but that comes after a stretch of 8 homers in his previous 11 games. So really over the last 2 weeks he has doubled his home run total on the year.
Yeah, he went from a guy who's really struggling to hit the ball out of the ballpark, and now he's among the league leaders. It's a crazy game. He's 10th in the National League in home runs, tied for 10th. Kadire, Bird, Votto, and Desmond.
Carlos Gonzalez leads the NL with 25 home runs. Chris Davis leads the American League with 34.
More than he hit last year. Last year he hit a career best 33. He's already passed that this year. All-time home run leaders for the Cubs. Soriano now tied with Derek Lee. Change up. 97-mile-an-hour fastball we've seen from Kelly on a couple of occasions. That was a changeup at 86. Wiry kid with a live arm.
Didn't miss by much to make it full 3-2. That'll give Castro a head start with 2 outs.
Shooting for that outside edge around the bottom of the knees.
Ball 4. So hard for Soriano to check his swing just because he has such a big bat.
Yeah, gets that thing going. It's very difficult to check. He has tremendously strong forearms and wrists. The check. Just in the next time you get an idea of the respect that Molina has for Soriano's ability to get to the fastball. He's got Kelly out there throwing 97, and they would not give in.
2 on for Nate Scherholz. One time not too long ago, Nate was so hot and Anthony Rizzo was struggling. Dale put Scherholz in the 3-hole.
That's the interesting thing about baseball is it's fairly predictable, big picture. Players that have been around a while, that are still in the prime of their career, if they're not rising or in a steep decline, they're going to put up similar numbers, from one year to the next. But in short spurts, a guy for 10 days could be Ty Cobb. An elite hitter could be Buddy Biancalana for a couple of weeks. Apologies to Buddy.
Two and one. Tap foul. It's 2-2.
Nate Scherholtz has been really good at Wrigley Field in his career as a visiting player, and now that he's joined the club, he continues to enjoy hitting at Wrigley. For the year, he's hit 11 home runs. That's a career best.
Swung on and missed to end the inning. A couple of Ks for Kelly, who leads 2-0 after one.
The game, and today we want to recognize Phillips Chevrolet for their support of the new Lennox Baseball League. Phillips Chevrolet and their Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana dealers are supporting over 30,000 young ball players in their communities through the Chevy Youth Baseball Program. Good swing, young man. Since 2010, the Chicago area Chevy dealers have been providing equipment, instructional clinics, and much-needed financial support. So once again, from the big leagues to the youth leagues, Chevy is truly the official vehicle of baseball.
One strike on Pete Kozma, the Cardinal 8 hitter. And he hits a high fly to short right. And Scherholtz really battling that sun. Bad sun field here in the late afternoon hours.
Wind's whipping pretty good, too. Look, it's picked up a couple notches.
Nice hat.
Where's your cowboy hat, man? It's cowboy hat day here at the ballpark.
There we go.
Somebody poisoned the water hole.
Jared Neiman will sing the stretch. Pitch to Kelly. Scherholtz again. Good adjustment.
My eyes are watering just watching it play those high pops. 10,000 through the turnstiles. Got a cowboy hat here this afternoon.
No, you don't get one.
Even gave them to Cardinal fans. It's a doubleheader.
Carpenter started the game with a single and would come around to score.
He just had a great at bat.
Yeah, he did.
Saw a bunch of pitches and hit a line drive.
Three and 0. Strike that time.
And batting leadoff, he has an on-base percentage right at 400. This is for players with at least 100 ABs or plate appearances in the leadoff spot. Taking all the way there. He trails only Dexter Fowler at 403 and Shin-Soo Choo at 436. And leadoff on-base percentage.
Ball 4. I think he swung at a pitch and tired back.
Swing for the fences with the new Home Run Derby mobile game from MLB.com, which includes all 24 Home Run Derby competitors from 2010 through 2012. Available on iPhone and iPad. Download MLB.com's Home Run Derby game for free. Do it today.
John Jay. He looks at a strike. Miami native, went to the University of Miami. Pretty good in high school. 466 as a sophomore, 528 as a junior, only 380 as a senior. Not sure what happened.
Pitched around him.
Yeah, he was looking ahead to college. 2-0 Cardinals. Chris Bryant, the Cubs' first-round pick, will join us coming up. Big day for the Cubs and their first round pick, the second overall pick in this year's draft. Kris Bryant out of the University of San Diego taking some batting practice with Dale Swaim today. And we have the third baseman with us in the booth. Kris, congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome to Chicago.
Thank you. It's been awesome so far. I've never been here, like I said, but this is an awesome town.
Right off the bat, did Cody Ransom ask you for a watch today?
Yes, he did.
He did. He told me he was going to. He wears number 1, and as we saw, you have number 1 on your jersey, and usually there's a protocol there.
Yep, they definitely brought that up. He said I needed to get him a Rolex.
Well, a beautiful day to be here at Wrigley as Brian Bogusevic rounds out. Your family's here. Now, is your mom from here?
My mom was born here. I mean, they've been here before, both my parents. We actually went out to dinner last night to a restaurant that they went to when they were here. So that was kind of cool. They brought back memories for them. And, I'm creating new ones here, and I'm having a whole lot of fun.
So you get drafted by the Cubs. Your thought on draft day?
Oh, it was the best day besides this one. My family was all crying. I was extremely happy. It's just something, I've been working for my whole life, and for it all to come true in one day was just awesome.
The 1-0 to Darwin. Barney sends that one to deep left. Way back there, Craig makes a catch. Wind kept it in. Wind blowing in today, which it doesn't do a ton in July, Kris, we'll tell you that, but it is this afternoon.
Kris said, man, I'm not going to play here, man, and wind blows in. So you got a chance to take BP. You took an early BP, and then you took a round with some of the guys. And also saw you gather around a little team cluster, and it looked like you got a chance to address the guys. What was going on with that?
Yeah, they just they brought up for me to tell the team where I'm from and what school I went to, and they brought up the number situation where I owed Cody Ransom a Rolex. But they're all great. They're fun to hang around. They really took me under their wing, and I just feel so welcome here. It's been a really fun time.
Well, you had a terrific year. You're a Golden Spike Award finalist, and that award will be handed out soon, correct?
Yes, it's I believe it's Thursday through Saturday next week. So I'll have to go to LA. That's it for college. I'm a professional, so excited to get that going.
And you'll start in Mesa, and then probably head on to Boise, and away we go.
Yep, journey begins. I'm just very excited to start. I mean, like I said, I've been working for it my whole life, and it's really an honor to call myself a professional baseball player now.
1-2 on Wellington Castillo. Here's the pitch. It's outside.
When you were taking BP off Dale, the first one you hit into the seats, did you take a little time to enjoy it?
I did.
And imagine yourself circling the bases.
He actually let me watch some of them.
Yeah.
So yeah,
he's not going to knock you down.
Yeah, he was fun. He threw some good BP too.
Well, we've heard other people describe what type of player you are. How would you describe yourself as a baseball player?
I go out there every day and try to do my best. I'm not really a hair on fire type of guy, but more laid back, but that doesn't mean I'm not out there trying my best. I go out there, have fun every day, and help my team win.
Can we keep you for a couple minutes after the break?
Yeah.
All right. Kris Bryant with us. Cubs trail 2-0 after 2. 8-0. We're with Chris Bryant, the Cubs first-round pick here in 2013. Now, I was talking to Jason McLeod. Your ballpark in San Diego, the ball doesn't carry great there anyway, but now you've got lights there. So you got the new bats, a lot of night games, and you still found a way to hit 31 home runs.
Yeah, the whole year I was squaring up baseballs, and that was my goal going into the year. I knew I'd get pitched a little differently, and especially the night games. It's not fun to hit when you got the fog rolling in and stuff. But I got stronger, and I got better as a baseball player, and the whole season worked out for me.
What have you learned about the Cubs organization since the day you were drafted, and even before that, when you thought you might end up here?
I learned a lot. I mean, there's a lot of tradition here. My first taste of Wrigley, and it's awesome. It's a sold-out crowd. The fans are awesome. There's so much history to the city. It's a great sports town, and I'm just gonna have a blast here.
1-0 to Carlos Beltran, an RBI triple.
Did I read a story about a home run in a pickup truck? You can fill us in on this.
Yeah, in high school, my high school field actually, it faced into a pretty, there's a lot of traffic going through the street. And, we'd always go out there and try to hit home runs and try to hit cars, and we never have. And then I think it was my junior year, it was batting practice. I hit one, and, I didn't think anything of it. And then this car starts pulling into behind the plate, and the window's broken, and this guy comes out, and his neck's like cut, and in his stomach he's bleeding, and I couldn't believe that it actually happened.
Another hit for Beltran. He's 2 for 2. That's a leadoff single. All right, tell us about growing up as a kid from Las Vegas. Have you been a third baseman your whole life? Did you play short? Did you pitch? You were in Little League?
I did everything you just mentioned. I played short in high school. I pitched a whole lot when I was younger, and into 2 years of high school, and I also played the outfield when I was younger. But I really did play third base a lot, like in the scout teams, and but my first 2 years of high school I played third base. So I grew up there. I'm comfortable there, but I'm going to play wherever they tell me to.
Just put me in, coach.
That's right.
There's Alan Craig. Beltran at first. Start the inning.
Are there any players that you watched as a kid that you kind of emulated? So, okay, this is who I need to be, or model your swing after?
I never did that, actually. I kind of just I hit the same way I do when I was a kid. I mean, I haven't changed much, but I watched some players. I liked watching Manny Ramirez. I actually liked watching Barry Bonds too. They're all great hitters, and hopefully I can do that one day.
1-0 to Craig is low. 2 balls and no strikes.
Someday we'll just be saying maybe that's just Chris being Chris. Right. Manny being Manny.
West Coast guy, did you grow up rooting for any team out there? Any team in particular?
I really never had a team growing up. My dad was drafted by the Red Sox, so growing up I kind of just rooted for them, just so when they lost he wasn't mad.
Well, I think you got a whole mess of Cub fans now in the Bryant family.
Yes, we do.
That's a strike. It's 2-1. Cardinals got 2 in the very first inning. Nothing since, but they have 1 on with nobody out.
Cardinals do not run much at all. Beltran, when he was younger, very good base stealer. His legs have given him problems in recent seasons, knee issues.
Usually when he does run, he's successful. And the pitch. That is a strike. So who did you face? Who was your toughest pitcher to face in college? The guy who was drafted? Anybody you can remember who gave you problems?
It might have been my first series as a freshman year. I faced Sonny Gray, who actually just got called up for the A's. He was awesome. Carlos Rodon from NC State. I faced him last summer, and he's still in college. He's going to be a great one. Definitely someone to watch. He's really hard to hit off of. But yeah, there's been a lot in my career at USD.
2-2 to Craig. In the air, and Sherholtz battling that sun all day, and he makes a catch for the out. Chris, we know you've got a really busy day today. Thanks for stopping by and chatting with us. I'm sure Cub fans everywhere are very excited about you wearing that uniform right there. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
It's Chris Bryant.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cubs #1 pick, and now this chapter of his life begins. Here's Yadier Molina. Well, I have to say, partner, he came as advertised. Poised. You can tell very grateful. And very excited about what lies ahead.
Yeah, well, yeah, and right when you have that pick, such a high pick in the draft, you want to make sure you do your homework on many different levels. So to get a kid that talented, who's also that, solid of a young man, obviously a very bright future ahead of him.
Big rip by Molina. Ooh.
A little fooled by a breaking ball first time. You remember he flung his bat out in the middle of the field, and now he's way out in front of this changeup. Recent days he has not been swinging it well. Well, if the knee has something to do with that, or if he's just in a little bit of a funk.
Two strikes on the Cardinal catcher. Laced pitch there by Villanueva. 1-2.
Good quick feet by Wellington Castillo to get out and knock that ball down, keep it in front. Keep Beltran at first. Double play in order.
The other thing about Bryant, people already asking and speculating. Well, I think you put buddy Patrick Mooney on the spot yesterday. When will Bryant be in the big leagues? So pop up again toward right, but this time it'll be Barney. And he makes a catch. The 29th annual Cubs convention comes up, and Chris Bryant might be on hand at the Sheraton Chicago Hotel and Towers, January 17th through the 19th, 2014. Rooms can be reserved by visiting CubsConvention.com. Or you can call the Sheraton Chicago, ask for the Cubs convention rate. All reservations at the Sheraton Chicago come with convention passes built into the room package. And we certainly hope you'll join us in January. But Chris Bryant will basically determine when he gets here. The Cubs have a plan for all of their minor league players as they develop. And I have a feeling he will be here sooner than later, considering how polished he is entering the system. But as an organization, JD, you don't put any dates on it. You let him develop.
No. You don't want to bring him up until he's ready to go, and you hope that he can come up and once he's got a big league uniform on, keep it on for a good long while.
Absolutely. Castro on the shift has a short throw over to first, and the Cardinals waste a leadoff single. It's 2-0. Star of Magic Mike. Two nothing. The Cardinals have the lead. Villanueva bounces one right to Carpenter. I don't know if I'd recognize him with the hat.
Wears his hat like a left-handed pitcher.
Yeah. Incognito here today.
He was in those Twilight movies, wasn't he?
Didn't see him. He might have been. Want to know on Valbuena.
I think my daughter might have had a poster.
Can look up Channing Tatum's bio here.
What's his OPS?
White House down. This is the end. Well, he's been busy lately. Magic Mike, 21 Jump Street.
Strike while the iron is hot in that business.
Ball four. Valbuena is on. Second walk issued by Kelly. Now Castro is going to have an all-star break for the first time in 3 years. He was an all-star of the last two. He's going to head back home to the Dominican Republic and just clear his mind and get ready for the second half once the first half is over Sunday night.
The struggles against lefties really surprising.
McKay, former longtime Cardinals first base coach.
You can hide behind Matt Adams.
Two
lost
guys
back there, yeah.
Two and one on Castro.
See if you can turn around this fastball right here.
Oh, nope.
He's changeup or something.
Nowhere to go.
Yeah. Kelly this afternoon has had a tendency to drop his arm a little bit, and that's some control issues because of it. 2 walks now, hit batsman.
The one pitch that's nearly impossible to get out of the way is the one where you have to actually move toward the plate, because your tendency is to back away from the plate. That ball actually got him on the back shoulder.
When it's coming at your numbers, there's not a whole lot you can do.
So 2 on for Rizzo. And a ground ball. Backhanded play by Kozma. They get one at second. What a play by Pete Kozma. Good body control as he's running away from second base.
Yeah, that's the type of play that could be really a game changer. Kelly struggling with his command in this inning. Rizzo trying to squirt one through that hole between third and short. And Kozma not only tracks the ball down, but he gets it out at second base. Not doing much with the bat. But a solid glove man. He's made only 4 errors all year. That was above average.
Soriano into shallow center. It's going to drop for an RBI hit. Valbuena scores. It's now 2-1.
Thing of beauty. A little gap wedge right off the end of the bat. A slider from Joe Kelly. He dumps it in front of Jay out there, who plays a relatively shallow center field. What was it we saw recently? Center fielder, so shallow.
That's a good question.
Somebody. I don't know.
It was somebody.
There was somebody. He was out there and he was really shallow. Take my word for it.
Kelly's 0-1. Hit on the ground to Carpenter. This will end the inning. Cubs with only 1 hit in the inning, but it was an RBI single by Alfonso Soriano. By the way, it's Steven Soderbergh, director and producer, hanging out with Channing Tatum. 2-1. Jim Obojkowicz, the Cubs manager of game and event production, and his fiancee April. And in a few hours, they will be husband and wife getting married in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. So congrats to them.
Absolutely. Congratulations.
Good looking couple. David Freese makes it out on one pitch. Cubs trail by one here in the fourth.
I think the guy I was thinking of was Juan Lagares.
Yeah.
The Met.
The Mets, yes. That's a good call. Shallow center.
Played very shallow. Apropos of absolutely nothing here this afternoon, but across my mind, it needed to be said.
Also wanted to mention again Alex Pink and his girlfriend Kat, who are here from England, Nottingham, England, and they are big Cub fans. Mentioned him last night, but he said his TiVo for today. So we've got to mention Alex again on a Midwestern baseball trip this week. Kozma hits this one out of play. Don't forget the play he made. Cubs did end up scoring a run in the third inning, but that could have stopped a big inning. And he went around. Strike three. Second punch out for Villanueva. And Cub fans, if you want to manage the game along with Dale Swaim, log on to WGNTV.com. Right now, click on the WGN Sports Game Zone banner and connect to all the up-to-the-minute stats and info while watching at home. Game Zone is sponsored by The Great Escape. Pools, patio sets, play sets, hot tubs, and more. Kelly with a pretty good bunt, but it's going to go foul. Makes it not such a good bunt. So I saw this headline, and fortunately everybody's all right, but it did make me laugh. Say more about me than the fan, but the headline says Phillies fan struck in face by Homer, not injured. And I'm thinking, isn't it by definition if you get hit in the face by a home run, you're injured?
Yeah, you got to be having a little something going on, a little mild contusion at least.
Anthony Rendon of the Nationals hit a home run, and it was a line shot homer. Hit the guy on the left side of the face, tried to make a barehanded catch. Never did have to leave his seat. Told the ushers, I'm fine. They're tough fans in Philly. And he got him. They go down 1-2-3 for the first time. It's 2-1 St. Louis.
premier seating for up to 200 guests for corporate gatherings, family reunions, and bachelor or bachelorette parties. Individual and group tickets are available for all games. For more details, go to WrigleyvilleRooftops.com or call 773-248-ROOF. Beautiful day to be out. Make sure you throw on a little sunscreen. Or wear your straw hat.
Ryan Bogusevic played leadoff man for the second time, hitting 6th in the lineup. He grounded out in the 2nd and now starts the Cubs 4th. Missed about a week. Aside from a pinch hit appearance with tightness in his hamstring. Got back in the lineup last night, went 1 for 4. Well, Derek Jeter comes back off the disabled list yesterday and then goes down late with a quad injury. It's a strained right quad. Carpenter will scoop and get the out. So Jeter will miss the series this weekend against the Twins, and it's possible he could end up on the DL again. Missed the first 91 games coming back from the broken ankle.
How old is Jeter now?
I think Derek Jeter is 39.
39, yeah. How many 39/40-year-old shortstops there have been in the history of the game?
Omar Vizquel. And how old was Ozzie when he retired? Ozzie Smith. Ozzie was 41.
Was he really?
Although he wasn't playing every day, as we remember. Don't know if Tony La Russa is on his Christmas list just yet.
Probably not.
Foul strike on Barney. He hit one deep to the warning track in left for an out in the 2nd. Two and two. It's past the pitcher, but not the second baseman. Carpenter again. Well, Mariano Rivera is going to retire after the season, and Delta Airlines decided to slap the 42 and his signature on the side of a plane dedicated to him. The 757 is not, they're not giving him the plane, but
he just gets to fly around in it when he wants to.
Yeah, I would guess.
Probably.
Pretty neat.
Naming rights. There you go. Another way to generate revenue.
So when you buy a ticket to fly to San Francisco from New York, can you request the Mo Rivera plane?
Mo Rivera. We call it the Cutter.
I love what he's doing when he goes to different parks for the last time. He's not doing the thing where they put him in a rocking chair at home plate, but instead he's meeting with behind the scenes employees of each club. People who don't get a lot of public recognition. He spent about a half hour signing autographs and telling them how much he appreciates their efforts. Castillo loses his helmet. on that swing. 3-2.
Never heard a negative word about him. You know, you never hear one bad word about him.
He did get a chair from the Twins made up of broken bats. That's innovative. Although I might put a blanket on it before I sit on it. That's just me. Called strike 3, and that'll end the inning. At the end of 4, it's the Cards 2 and the Cubs 1.
Music first. It's the sound of history being made. Here we go.
2-1 St. Louis. Cubs won last night. 3-0 the final. Big crowd here today. Gorgeous weather. And the Cardinals will bat for the third time through their order. Carpenter with a single, a walk, and a run.
After a rough first inning, Carlos has settled in nicely. This guy's had 2 very good at-bats already this afternoon. Very patient. 28 pitches in the first inning alone. Since then, just 38 pitches.
Look from behind home plate. On one hop, Castro has to back up, and the throw's in time. Cub fans, make sure you check out Len and JD's baseball blog at WGNTV.com. The blog is sponsored by Jeff Vukovich, your nationwide insurance agent serving the area for 34 years. To join the nation, contact Jeff at jeffvuk.com nationwide. is on your side. I have a post on the end of the first half. Things looking up for the Cubs. We have game notes and much more. Strike one on John Jay.
Did you give out grades?
No, I did not do the grading.
Player report card.
But, that's always a tricky proposition, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'd give you an A+.
Not a big fan of that.
Carlos has a sign from Castillo, and that one is hit a ton foul into the upper deck. Cardinals still with the best record in baseball, percentage points ahead of the Red Sox, and they have a 1-game lead in the division over the Pirates, who host the Mets tonight. Just foul. Wally Bell was maybe 3 feet away when it landed. Had a good look at it. No argument from Chris Maloney, the first base coach.
Previous pitch, Jay yanked foul, way foul into the stands. This time he just misses extra bases. An emphatic sell of a call by Wally Bell.
And he got him. Strikeout number 4 for the Cubs starter.
Backdoor slider. The Mets have won 4 in a row. They just swept the Giants. Won 7 of 10.
That is not the official giveaway hat.
That is one shiny hat.
It's like something out of Toy Story. Quickly 0-2 to Carlos Beltran. Putting together a fine first half. An all-star first half. He'll start in the NL outfield. 8th time he's been an all-star. He grounds out to Castro, and that is 9 straight set down by Villanueva. He trails 2-1 in the 5th. Beautiful Wrigley Field, so gather your friends and family. Make baseball part of your plans. Cubs' first home series after the break starts July 29th. That's a Monday against the Milwaukee Brewers. And to purchase tickets, go to Cubs.com. Kelly against Villanueva, and he has seen 2 pitches. And a catch by Carpenter. The snow cone grab. And a beauty.
Ozma with the sparkling play earlier. Now Matt Carpenter takes a base hit away from Carlos Villanueva. Just beautifully timed. Pretty play.
Usually when it's at the end of the mitt, it'll pop out when you hit the ground, but he was able to present it and make the catch. Valbuena. So Villanueva, 2 pitches, 2 outs, almost had a leadoff single. '94 was some late life. Strike 1. Give a shout out to Roger and Becky Thompson from Waterloo, Iowa. Big Cub fans. And there are 2 charter buses here from Hammond Henry Hospital in Geneseo, Illinois. Great to have them here. Ground ball to Carpenter. And with 2 outs in the 5th, let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. Well, Virginia Pressey is watching today, rooting on the Cubs. Virginia's son Gary, the fine organist here at Wrigley Field. Outside ball 1 to Castro. This is a 3:05 start. We start to get into these late afternoon hours and start to see the shadows creep over the field along the left field line.
Hitters used to really appreciate that back in the day when Lee Smith would come out of the bullpen and those shadows would be halfway across home plate. Not an issue yet. It's kind of funky though. It's kind of cool. If you're looking for some sun, you need to head to the first baseline.
You know what I think of when we have games that start at this time? Playoff baseball back in the 70s and 80s. A lot of the championship series and World Series games were played in the afternoon. You don't see it enough these days.
It's always a big thrill to talk your teacher into rolling a television in from call down to the AV room. That guy from the AV club to wheel the TV in. History teachers, for whatever reason, seem to be pro baseball.
Kelly has settled in now with a 2-1 lead through 5. South side of Chicago. Disco Demolition Night, Tigers and White Sox in a doubleheader. Our buddy Steve Dahl started the anti-disco campaign. So 98 cents and bring a disco record between games. They blew him up on the field, and then all heck broke loose, and the White Sox had to forfeit game 2.
Fans stormed the field.
Wikipedia has a little box on the right side of the page. It's pretty funny. Location, Comiskey Park. Deaths, none. Injuries between 0 and 30. Property damage to the field of Comiskey Park. Suspects, about 39. Charges of disorderly conduct. Craig fouls out as we start the 6th.
And was it in Cleveland when they had nickel beer night and they had to postpone the game there?
So the White Sox were expecting about 20,000 and ended up with 50,000. Initially, game 2 was postponed, but the following day, Lee McPhail, the then American League president, said nope. Tigers win. If there was a genre of music people didn't like today, would you blow up iPhones?
I don't know what you do. I'm guessing you would have to.
Although vinyl's coming back.
I think Lee McPhail was a disco fan, maybe. Probably had the full Bee Gees collection at home. There's Michael Bowden.
Yeah, he's back
Not
too.
Bolton, Bowden. Ooh.
Curve for a strike.
The velocity on that one. 58. Molina just doesn't look comfortable in the batter's box today. This big old lollipop curveball. It settles into the bottom of the zone. 62. Got loose, came all the way down and hit Molina.
He is so feared right now, even guys in the bullpen
Knockdown
throwing
pitches
inside.
200 feet away.
Barney ranging to his glove side. 2 outs. Let's take a look at the Cubs Ford upcoming schedule. Wrap up the first half with night games tomorrow and Sunday, and then off to the National League West at Colorado a week from today, 7 o'clock Central Time, right here on WGN Sports. Ford, go further in any one of Ford's many fuel-efficient vehicles. Check out America's freshest lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com.
A long road trip to start the second half. Denver, Phoenix, San Francisco. The wild and wacky NL West. We're really able to take charge. Diamondbacks in first place, just 4 games above 500. The Dodgers making a lot of noise, though. For a gambling man, I would put my money on Don Mattingly's team.
They're over 500 for the first time since tax day. By the way, that 7 o'clock start in Colorado's leadoff man time. The game to follow. Two balls, 2 strikes. This is probably it for Villanueva. That's his 87th pitch. It's a full count, 3-2, with David Freese waiting on deck.
Decision time. Go soft again away. Try to get him to chase. Or do you feel like you've slowed him down enough where you can throw that come on back two-seam fastball to the inside corner? We're going to go soft. Hung it. Got away with it.
I think she's okay. Yeah, I hope she's all right. And another 3-2. Valbuena basically playing short on that particular play. And now 12 in a row retired by Villanueva. Anthony Rizzo heating up here in the friendly confines. Get peace of mind with Xfinity Home, the total home security and home control solution that keeps you more connected to what matters most. And look who's leading off. See how he timed it?
That is good producing right there.
There's the pitch from Joe Kelly. It's a little high for ball one. Mark Brady is our producer. Our director, Skip Ellison. Tamara Anderson, our associate producer today. Bob Vorwald is the executive producer of WGN. Great to have you with us as we wrap up the first half this weekend.
So Kelly protecting this one-run lead. Goes change-up on consecutive pitches here to Rizzo. He wouldn't bite now in a hitter's count. Let's see if Kelly challenges him here. Soft again. How about that? I shouldn't say Kelly because it's all about Molina. Molina's calling the game. Kelly, I don't believe, has shook him off once. Understandably so for the young right-hander, just to put the game in Molina's hands.
As I mentioned, I think Villanueva's done after 6. 90 pitches right on the button. That's what Dale had thought before the game, that he'd leave him right at about 90. Now he has set down 12 in a row, but there's one school of thought is get him out feeling good. That's a fair ball rolled into the left field corner with a snake along that line, and Rizzo has a leadoff double. His 50th career double, and he's a tying run in scoring position with nobody out, and he just tied Matt Carpenter for the National League lead with his 27th this year.
We say it time and time again, hitters, when they're willing to use the whole field, good things happen. Usually an indication too that hitters are staying in a little bit longer, seeing the ball better. And a lot of times a precursor of good things to come. Matt Guerrier going over some scouting reports out there with Mr. Strode.
Ball one on Soriano.
Joe Kelly at times almost Bob Gibson-esque the way he falls off to the first base side of the mound. For you younger people, Bob Gibson was a really good pitcher a long time ago. Look him up. A pretty fair basketball player, too.
Shallow right. Beltran the catch. Rizzo holding at second. One away. If you missed it, Steve Delabar, Blue Jays reliever, and Freddie Freeman, first baseman of the Braves, the final vote winners in their respective leagues. So Yasiel Puig not making the National League All-Star team. That'll be it for Joe Kelly. He will leave with the lead, and with back-to-back lefties due up, veteran Randy Choate summoned. We'll be back. Really the first 4 batters of the game as they got a couple of runs, but then Carlos Villanueva really shut it down, retiring his final 12 batters. Your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Honda dealers, as reliable as the cars themselves. Cardinals like Randy Choate so much they gave him a 3-year free agent contract over the winter. And his job is to get out those lefties, including Nate Scherholtz, with a runner at second, 1 out.
It's all about that arm angle. Makes it difficult for the left-handed hitters to stay in there on him. His fastball is 85 miles an hour. Throw a lot of sliders as well.
pitching in his age 37 season. And he'll be paid through the age of 39 at least.
He's hitting just 196 against him. He's not allowed a home run to anybody this year. Sherholtz batting 192 against left-handed pitching. Not a lot of at-bats. 26 to be exact.
The kick and the 2-0 pitch is inside, 3-0. So going back to last year when he led the majors with 80 appearances with the Marlins and the Dodgers, 112 games the last 2 seasons combined, he's allowed 1 homer total, 57 2/3 innings. How about that? 112 games under 58 innings the last 2 seasons.
The definition of a specialist.
He walked him.
Well, Sherholt's good at shooting the ball the other way, especially with a lefty on the mound. That's going to be Nate's thinking. Stay on that slider and hit it the other way. So Cho tried to counter that, threw him sinkers in, but they were off the plate and Nate wouldn't bite. Bogusevic on the ground twice today, and that's precisely what Choda's looking for here.
Could be 2, 4, 6, 3 to end the inning. Cardinals turn a big double play and maintain a 2-1 lead. Fan cam.
There's always something that can keep you down. Kicks you hardest when you're on the ground. Dr. Murphy been prescribed. There's always patience, but it gets burned out. No escaping once you wear the frown. Like a fever going round.
Track from Pete Donnelly from the Figs. Always something in Cubs baseball, brought to you by Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Here's Matt Guerrier in the 7th. Cubs trail 2-1. And the 1-0 to David Freese. Slow roller charged by Castro. And one away. Jared Neiman, singer and songwriter, coming up with the 7th inning stretch. Welcome to Wrigley Field.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This is unbelievable. I can't believe this day. All these people, this is amazing.
It is a perfect day to be here. And you've got a show coming up, right? Tonight, later?
Above City, yeah, we're doing a barbecue fest this evening. So, I mean, how can you beat baseball and barbecue? And in the great city of Chicago. It doesn't get any better.
I would agree with that.
Pretty solid day right there.
There's Pete Kozma. Now, your bio says that you started writing and performing when you were 10?
Yes, I mean, I wouldn't want to show you any of those songs, but yes.
What kind of stuff did you write about when you were 10?
You know, I made fun of my siblings. You know, unfortunately, they weren't.
Always a good place to go.
Great place to
They weren't
start.
drinking songs just yet.
Guerrier and Pedro Strop have been really good since joining the Cubs recently.
Change of scenery.
Yep.
So, George Strait, a big influence.
Oh, yeah. I think anybody that is in Nashville, whether they would know it or not, most people would admit it, but even if they didn't realize he was an influence, I'm sure one way or another he is. He's definitely one of the guys that all of us wish we could be, for sure. And actually, speaking of another wonderful gentleman, Mr. Brad Paisley, we had the opportunity to play with him, you know, out here at Wrigley Field, and that was I feel like I'm lying every time I say that because it's such a great honor, but that was one of those moments I had to instantly call my folks right after I got the phone and tell them.
That's cool.
This is a great venue for not only baseball but music as well these days.
So Nashville's home?
Nashville is home. I grew up in Kansas and lived in Nashville now for about 12 years, so it definitely is home, and don't get to spend much time there these days, but that's great because I've seen the paint dry for many years on the wall. So
Time to get out on the road.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Full count on Kozma. Seth Maness up in the Cardinal pen. And it looks like Rob Johnson is going to pinch hit for Choate. He's on deck. 3-2, popped him up. Back of the plate. And pushing that ball toward the stands, but Castillo makes a catch in foul territory. And it will be the Cardinals' third catcher to pinch hit. You're not nervous about singing the stretch, I hope.
You know, I'm not. It's not the fact that I'm nervous. It's the fact that I just want to do justice for everybody here.
Oh, you will. Just enjoy it. Take it nice and slow.
There's been a lot of injustices done up here. So
no, you'll do just fine.
No, it's going to be fun. I can't wait.
I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say with your pedigree, pretty good chance you're going to be well above the average.
Well, the thing about the song is even when sung slowly, it's still about a 35-second song. So you just want to enjoy literally every second of it.
Slow enough for people to two-step back home.
There you go.
Get on the dance floor a little bit. So I'm going to put you on the spot. Who's your favorite Cubs player of all time?
Favorite Cub player of all time? Yeah, that is a tough one. I'm going to go with Mr. Cub, Ernie Banks. Right field. Diving attempt. Sherholtz can't get it. Johnson is going to end up with a 2-out triple. Well, a do-or-die play, JD, and I'm not sure Nate could have gotten in front of that ball anyway. I don't know, did he have much of a choice here on this play?
Yeah, not a big difference between 2 bases or 3 bases with 2 outs. No, he just had to sell out and leave his feet for it, that extra 90 feet. I mean, even if he stays on his feet, it probably goes to the wall, maybe a triple, but with 2 outs, probably not that meaningful. The real downside is the next hitter just happens to be Matt Carpenter, who's looked awfully good at the plate this afternoon.
So, yeah, I got to go with Mr. Cub and Billy Williams. Those are my 2 guys. JD?
Hector Villanueva.
Okay.
Slam dunk. Not even close.
Well, talking about the great Ernie Banks, I know he's sang this song several times.
Yes, he has.
No one can top that.
1 strike to Carpenter. 2-out pinch hit triple by Rob Johnson as the Cardinals are trying to add on. Well, you've written songs for Garth Brooks, and he went to spring training with the Padres one year.
That's right. Yeah, he actually has a couple different rings that he's actually shown me, and they are unbelievable. And every time he looks at them, I know he's extremely grateful. But he loves sports, especially baseball. And he's a heck of an athlete. You know, he will school you. At least me. I don't know about you, but
Is that right? I didn't know he was
he's good. Basketball, baseball. He threw the javelin in college at Oklahoma State. He's a
left center. Bogusevic can't get it. The Cardinals add on. Carpenter is going to stop with a double. It's a big insurance run here in the 7th for St. Louis. 2-out rally, a triple and a double.
Yeah, I kind of scoffed when we were in St. Louis back in June when you talked about Mike Matheny talking about Matt Carpenter saying he might be the best second baseman in the league. And I'm not scoffing anymore. This kid can really play. Ball just continued to fade away from Bogusevic out there in left center field.
All right, Jared, we're going to let you get ready for the stretch. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great show tonight.
Well, thank you so much.
Welcome back to Wrigley Field.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
Honored
Jared
to be
Neiman.
here.
Good to have you.
John Jay with 2 outs. Now ball 2.
Greer has very good action on his secondary pitches. Good tight curveball, real good changeup.
Just got a piece of it. It's 2-1.
Shadows will become a bit of an issue as that ball passes through that dappled light stanchion and then through the shade at home plate.
Today's word of the day, dappled. I like it.
Say the secret word and you divide $100. Send him in the card, please.
So the run expectancy, both teams hitters and pitchers right around league average in this spot to get a run. Ground ball to Barney. And it is stretch time.
Today's guest conductor for Take Me Out to the Ball Game, country music star Jared Neiman.
All right, Cubs fans, let me hear you. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I never get back. Oh, it's root for the Cubbies. They don't win, it's a shame. Now it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Oh, let's get some runs.
Underway in the Cubs 7th, a strike called. Seth Maness to Darwin Barney. Nice job on the stretch by Jared Neiman. I think he did it justice.
Yeah. He's a pro's pro.
Yep.
Fastball slider, curveball change. A lot of decisions out of the pen. 5-1, 28 appearances.
He's a rookie. They have used a major league leading 11 rookie pitchers. And Barney foul tips for the out. Let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. Ball 1 to Castillo. And that will bounce right on into right field for a 1-out single.
Tomorrow the Cubs battle the division rival Cardinals. Game time is 6:15. Mark that. First 10,000 fans will receive a Harry Carey replica statue. Compliments of Liberty Mutual. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com.
You all right? Sometimes it's fun to laugh, huh? Pitching change for the Cardinals. 3-1 in the 7th. So 1994 Twins and Brewers, Mike Matheny kind of had your number.
The whole league had my number in 1994. But he had his first major league home run was off of me.
So you gave up Mike Schmidt's final and Mike Matheny's first.
And I'll say it again. Didn't make history, just a footnote.
Tell us about Kevin Segrist. Look at those impressive numbers.
Yeah, this guy's nasty. 12 big league innings this year. He's allowed just 2 hits, struck out 17. He was pitching rookie ball last year. Pitched rookie ball, high A, double A last year, double A, triple A in the big leagues this year. Signed him. He was a late pick, 40-something round. Not throw particularly hard when he was signed, but each and every year he's gotten better and better. Now he rushes it up there in the mid-90s. Tough at bat for Bourbon.
One ball, one strike on Julio. Castillo at first. He just singled off Manus. The knees 95 miles an hour, and there he is, Channing Tatum, because apparently our Facebook and Twitter friends wanted to see him again. So there you go. Take a screenshot. Just off the outside, 2-2.
Bogusevic having the hamstring issues recently. Bourbon has had a chance to get some starts. Should help his cause when he's up in these pinch hit situations.
Very late
Not today.
swing on 96.
Nasty lefty. Crossfire heater just off the outside corner, 96 miles an hour. Got Choate, the veteran crafty lefty out there, the lefty specialist, and Segrist, this hard throwing rookie, with pretty solid options for Mike Matheny to go to.
It's Castro on deck. 3-1 Cards in the seventh.
Cardinals bullpen ERA is 3.60, pretty much league average.
Two balls and a strike. Segrist to the plate. Just away. White Sox and Phillies already rained out. They'll have a doubleheader tomorrow at Citizens Bank Park. So, you know how we said there would be an interleague game every day when the season started? Actually, it's not true today after that rain. That was the only scheduled interleague matchup. (3-2) with 2 outs, called strike 3. Now, Buena thought it was ball 4. And it's 3-1 St. Louis after 7. Mazda drive to victory off the bench. Catcher Rob Johnson with a pinch hit triple that set up the RBI double by Matt Carpenter and gave the Cardinals an extra run, leading 3-1 as they'll bat here in the 8th against hard throwing right-hander Pedro Strop.
Strop, since joining the Cubs, has been really good. 5 appearances, an ERA of 0.
Last name backwards is Ports. It's also an anagram for sport. He'll face Carlos Beltran, who's 2 out of 3. Low for ball 1. By the way, drive to victory brought to you by your local Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Mazda dealers. Two and 0.
Tron with great balance in the batter's box. He handles velocity. He's quick. Better be able to handle velocity against Strop. He can rush it up there.
Driven out toward left center. He's got another hit. Triple, single, double in 4 at-bats for Carlos Beltran.
One of those guys who can make it look easy sometimes. 95. It's up, it's moving away from him, and he just stays on it and rides it into the alley in left center field. .428 two-baggers in his long career.
Pitch to Craig. Breaking ball strike.
Craig, their leading RBI man, was 71.
Way up and in. With some hair on it.
Greg's
95.
really good. Yeah, he's really good the other way. You have to, and he can get to an inside fastball too. So you have to make sure if you're going to go in there for effect that you make sure you get it in. A little unnerving for Craig as it's up high.
Craig, a product of Cal Berkeley, born in Mission Viejo, California, an all-star for the first time.
Like Carpenter, not a real high draft pick.
8th round. In March, got a 5-year extension. The end of the bat foul. 2-2.
Normally in this situation with your cleanup hitter up there, a guy who's driven in 71, you're not asking him to give himself up to try to advance this runner by hitting the ball, sacrificing his approach to guide the ball to the right side. But probably was what Craig was thinking throughout this at bat. So good going the other way anyway. He's got Molina behind him. Their lineup is so deep. Looked like that's what he had in mind with that swing right there, but he came up empty.
So 1 away.
Bring the whole family to Wrigley Field as the Cubs take on the Cardinals this Sunday. It's a night game. 7:05 start. First 5,000 children 13 and younger will receive a pair of Cubs shoelaces. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com.
Now Molina started the day at 339, leading the league. He's down to 335. Only one Cardinal catcher since 1933 has had a higher batting average going into the All-Star break. Tim McCarver, 348 back in 1967.
Ooh. Man.
Tim will have the call tomorrow with Joe Buck. Nice chat with Tim yesterday. There you go. Ted Simmons has a few spots on that list.
Tim was an all-star that year, finished second in the MVP voting.
Key run right there at second base. Cardinals lead by 2. And now Strop and Castillo will try to get on the same page.
Big run, hitters count. Time to have a conversation to make sure they know exactly what they're trying to accomplish with this pitch.
Ready to go on a 2-0. Here it is. 3-0.
Couldn't have missed by much. Let's take a look at pitch tracks. Tight slider. Yeah, it could have been. Molina pretty good on that fastball out over that outer third of the plate. Drive that ball into right center.
He looks at ball 4. One thing the Cardinals do a lot, which they have not done today, is hit into double plays. 95 of them grounded into, most in the majors.
They don't strike out a bunch. They don't walk all that much. Put the ball in play a lot. Holiday's bounced into 22 of them.
James Adams, native of Phillipsburg, Pennsylvania, 24 years old.
I'm guessing he played a little football in high school too.
Swing and a miss. 0-2. able to stay alive. Red line making it stop.
These big left-handed sluggers are good down. Like that, use their leverage, their height to take that low ball and lift it. The MO last night with Adams and again here today is hard in. Tie him up in on the hands, elevated a little bit. You can get a swing and miss or a meek pop-up.
Kick the 1-2. Another foul.
Played his college ball at Slippery Rock. Hit 473, school record.
Nickname?
I do not know.
That might be a first.
I should know. I can hear Dave Dials on the college scoreboard giving the scores.
Good thing there's a little fence in front of each dugout. That would have done some damage over on the Cubs side.
Tough to finish this big guy off. Yeah, that would have ruined somebody's day.
Good at bat by Adams. He's now worked a full count, 3-2.
They've gone in, they've gone out, they've gone up, they've gone down. You've seen 8 pitches.
Pitches, he's fouled out 4 of them here in this sequence. Beltran doubled to start the inning. Craig struck out and then Molina walked. Another 3-2. Lifted in the air. Left field. And it's going to twist out of play.
Shadows continue to creep across the field. This would be a time when you'd be tempted to just throw like a BP fastball. Just take a little something off, see if you can catch him out in front a little bit.
Another foul. Adams keeps spoiling it for Strop. What's the tendency for a pitcher and a catcher here when a guy just keeps Fouling.
Well, you get caught in between a little bit, right? Because the Stroke throws 97 miles an hour, and he was a little bit late on that one because he's in protect mode a little bit. The last thing you want to do, for me, is throw him a breaking ball in the zone. Out of the zone, fine.
So Adams finally goes down without a fight. 2 away. I guess one thing Stroke did, a little hitch in his leg kick there.
He'd thrown a lot of those breaking balls up, and this time he finished the pitch, got it down, well down below the knees.
Still not out of it yet. It's David Freese with 2 outs. Huge crowd, 37,322 at Wrigley. Game 2 of a 4-game set. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
Getting the feel for that slider. The guy we're seeing now is the guy that was so good for Buck Showalter in Baltimore last year.
Tron headed to third, doesn't matter as Freese strikes out, and Strope works out of a jam in the 8th. Still 3-1 Cardinals. Ball brought to you by Bud Light Music First. It's the sound of history being made. Here we go. Honda. Visit your local Honda dealer or go to shophonda.com for current offers. And by AT&T. Find out what's possible with products and services from AT&T. Rethink possible. Starlin Castro will lead it off as Kevin Sechrist, who struck out Bourbon and Valbuena, will continue on.
Lefty's still in there because Anthony Rizzo waits on deck. And if Castro were to reach, Rizzo would represent the tying run. First things first. I've been grinding away over here, and the only thing I can find is the rock, slippery rock.
Yeah.
It's the rock.
That's what I gathered.
Another hard thrower. Trevor Rosenthal can rush it up there.
Full count, 3-2. Rizzo on deck. Cubs down only 2.
I think like a leadoff hitter here. Make sure you get a strike.
Driven to deep left center. Craig back to the warning track. Into the basket. A home run. And the Cubs are within a run. 3-2.
Second home run on the homestand for Castro. He whacked one to right center the other night. This time he gets out in front of the fastball. That's number 6.
5 hits in the series now for Castro.
Let that front leg down in time, then the hands come flying through the zone. Pretty swing. For him to have a nice weekend here in advance of the All-Star break. Come back with a little positive mojo for the second half.
Well, after he had the day off in late June, he said, I'm starting my season over, and he hasn't committed an error since. Hitting in the 280s. In the last few weeks, called strike 3 to get Rizzo. That will be it for Segrist as Mike Matheny comes out to Mike DeMuro, the home plate umpire. He'll make a double switch. Daniel Descalzo in for David Freese. Looks like Trevor Rosenthal is next. 3-2 Cardinals. play third. Double switch. He'll hit ninth in the Cardinal order. And right-hander Trevor Rosenthal will do the pitching. Segrist allowing that homer to Castro. It's the first major league home run the lefty has allowed in 13 innings of work.
Pretty impressive numbers for Trevor Rosenthal. 188 ERA. 64 strikeouts against only 9 walks in 43 innings. He has struck out better than 35% of the batters he has faced. And a lot of times that comes with a price in terms of walks, but that hasn't been the case. He's only walked 5%. Just a tremendous strikeout to walk ratio. Starts Soriano with the changeup at 87, fastball at 97. And out of deference to Soriano's quick bat, he starts him with an off-speed pitch. Another one.
This one right in the zone. It's bounced to Descalzi, a little bobble. Time to recover. 2 away.
Fortunately for Descalzi, that ball stayed right there for him. He was able to recover in time. They always find the new guy. First into the game.
Four-seamer on the corner. 1-1 to Scherholz. I'm sure Mike Matheny would prefer to give his closer Edward Mujica a couple of days off. Scherholz fouled that one off his foot. Mujica recently had a stretch of appearing in 6 consecutive games over a 7-day period. He was off last night. The way he's used his bullpen today, it looks like Mujica would get the save chance this afternoon. Swing and a miss, 98 and rising. Pretty nasty stuff from Rosenthal. Castro cuts the deficit to 1 as we go to the 9th. Have now hit 100 home runs on the season. lead the majors in home runs at home, number 63 here at Wrigley. And here's Michael Bowden.
Welcome back, Michael Bowden. Up with the Cubs at the start of the year. He worked 14 times. He was 1-2 with the .378. Posted solid numbers down at AAA. Looks to a 2.41 ERA down there in 13 appearances. Good strikeout numbers at Iowa. 28 strikeouts in 18 2/3 innings.
It's James Russell up in the bullpen. Michael got caught in a numbers crunch when Matt Garza came off the DL back in May. He was designated for assignment, and then Sean Camp got hurt, went to the DL. The very next day, in fact. Just bad timing, but he's back in the big leagues and facing Pete Kozma, who fouls into the upper deck.
Michael, fastball, slider, and a split finger pitch.
Bowden from the western suburbs of Chicago, lives in Oswego. To Wambanzi High School in Aurora. And there is Edward Mujica. His teammate Adam Wainwright is an all-star, and Wainwright has said he wouldn't mind giving up his spot if Mujica would take it. Castro throws to first. Of course, Wainwright doesn't get to make that decision. Wainwright and Travis Wood, who are NL All-Star teammates, they're going to match up Sunday night.
Yeah, good matchups the rest of the weekend. It's Garza and Lance Lynn tomorrow. One and done for Bowden.
So he does his job, and it'll be James Russell against Daniel Descalzo. Actually, 3 straight lefties now due up for the Cardinals. It's 3-2 St. Louis in the 9th. Well, the parade of left-handed hitters due up.
He's on a pace to pitch 80 ball games this year, among the league leaders in that category, as he was last season. Quite a lefty specialist in terms of usage. There's a guy like Choate, A lot of times it's for a hitter or two, but he can get right-handers out too with his changeup.
Descalzo with his first at bat came into play third in the bottom of the 8th. 1 strike. Coming back on a 1-1, and a slider drops in nicely. 1-2. He had to go right. No, according to Dan Bellino.
Yeah, it's one of those. For me, it's close enough of a pitch with a half a swing, add it all up, and it's a strike if I'm umpiring. It's not the way they do it.
So half a strike, half a swing,
Yeah.
that equals a strike.
Yeah,
I like it.
yeah.
Get the out anyways. Bogusevic puts it away. 2 down. And it's Matt Carpenter.
Left-handed hitters batting 186 off of Russell. 219 on base and a 286 slugging. Allowed 5 extra base hits to left-handed hitters. No home runs.
The early East Coast games are about ready to get underway within 5 or 10 minutes, save for that game in Philly we mentioned. White Sox and Phils already postponed. Doubleheader tomorrow. Pirates are hosting the Mets. Hefner and Morton pitching matchup in that one. Pirates starting the day 1 behind St. Louis. In the air out towards Soriano and left to end the inning. Bowden and Russell combined for a 1-2-3 night. Last chance for the Cubs, down a run. You see the save percentage. He's blown just one opportunity all year.
Always has had great control. Just 2 walks issued for Mujica in his 39 appearances. He's got a tremendous split finger pitch. That's his best weapon.
That one blown save was a loss at the Angels 8 days ago. Since then, 4 saves and a win. All within the last week. 1 strike.
Yeah, and one of those appearances, it was a 9-5 game. It was a 9-1 game, and Cardinals started to give it up late, and Mike Matheny brought him in. So, you know, that's one of those ones kind of question a little bit.
3 unassisted, 1 away. Yeah, pretty efficient in all of those outings. Did throw 22 pitches 2 nights ago. Pretty good pickup from the Marlins last year. Edward Mujica.
Always been a pretty reliable setup guy. Broke in with the Indians, made a name for himself with the Padres. Had a couple of saves last year, but was primarily a setup guy. This is his first real chance to serve as a closer.
Carpenter sidestepping and throwing out Barney. 2 quick outs here in the 9th.
Comes the secret weapon.
Deoner Navarro. He has had a flair for the dramatic, hasn't he?
Indeed, he has.
Pinch hit home runs back-to-back days in April against the Giants. A 3-homer performance against the White Sox. Chris Bryant looks on.
What's in there? Give me a bat.
And he takes a fastball for a strike. The pitch. Another ground ball. And Edward Mujica shuts him down quietly in the 9th. 3 ground ball outs, and the Cardinals have evened up this series. A 3-2 final today. Cubs got a run in the 3rd on the Soriano RBI single. The homer by Castro. But the Cardinals pitching just too good today.
Yeah, couldn't cash in. One big opportunity in the 6th. Anthony Rizzo had a leadoff double, and they weren't able to bring him home. Scherholtz walked. Brian Bogusevic bounced into a double play. But solid pitching effort by both Joe Kelly and Carlos Villanueva here this afternoon.
So the first place Cardinals, best record in baseball, 56-35. Pick up a 3-2 win over the Cubs, and we'll have more from Wrigley Field in a moment.